Welcome to Wednesday Walks Together. My name is Mark Long, rector of the parish of St Andrew in Newlands, Cape Town. It's a wonderful sunny day in Cape Town today, blue skies, not a cloud in sight, and just one of those days where it would be lovely to be out on the beach or perhaps on my bicycle. But life has constructed itself around me in such a way that those are not possibilities today. But I am here with you, and good to meet again. A verse from Luke chapter 7, verse 44, which reads as follows. Then turning towards the woman, Jesus said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has bathed my feet with her tears and dried them with her hair." I'm sure you probably recognize that as a verse in relation to a dinner that Jesus attends at Simon the Pharisee's house. And one in which he's tested somewhat, both by Simon and the community that he's gathered with. And this woman arrives and washes his feet with her tears and dries it with her hair. And they are somewhat scathing of Jesus allowing her to do that. Now, this passage is part of a reading for today in Padraig Tuma's book, Daily Prayer with the Corrymeela Community. And he makes Padraig has a very interesting insight in the prayer that he offers with this verse. And the prayer reads as follows. Jesus of Nazareth, strangers came to you because with you they hoped that they'd be seen for who they were, not for who the seers saw. May we who are strangers see each other because we, like you, need to be seen to be believed. Amen. The phrase that really catches my attention there is that strangers came to Jesus because they hoped they'd be seen for who they were. I think that's a really important insight, because I think a lot of the time, most of us struggle with the fact that people don't see us for who we are. And for me, perhaps part of the gift of faith is being able to come to God and just be me with God. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to put on a mask. I don't have to be polite. I don't have to be kind. I can just be who I am. And God seems to love me for all of that, perhaps despite all of that. But it's a wonderful place to be, just to know that one is fully and completely accepted. There are obviously relationships in our lives where there are people that we feel more or less accepted with. And I think part of the joy of my marriage is that I do really feel fully accepted by Dawn, apart from my snoring at night and one or two other bits and pieces of who I am. But she really does hold me and accept me for the person that God has created me to be. And that's a wonderful gift, and for me reflects something of God's love for me. And I think that's part of the joy for me, of our relationship. One of the other gifts that I have discovered is the Enneagram. And some of you may have come across it, but some of you may be a completely new word or term. Google it, have a look at what it's all about. Increasingly, it's being used as a modern management tool, personality management tool. But initially, or over many centuries, it was used as a resource for spiritual direction. And it's a wonderful gift that really does help one to know oneself in terms of one's personality and the drivers that are part of that, and the linkages into other people around one. And for me, it's just been a wonderful sense of growing wholeness. There's a whole lot of aspects of myself which I perhaps over many years didn't particularly like, or perhaps was ashamed of, or didn't know what to do with. And the Enneagram's approach to things just allows one to really, or allows me to see myself as a person. And there's a wholeness to the goodness of who I am, and the irritations and other more difficulties of who I am, etc. And it's been a wonderful gift of just growing in self-knowledge, knowing what some of the things are that some of the buttons that when they get pushed helping me understand why I've been responding in certain ways, and helping me to perhaps respond differently. I still tend to be quite reactive and other aspects, but I know what drives that, and I have a tool, a resource to work with in just becoming more aware of more creative ways to be me, along with just holding all that I am and seeing myself as a whole as God's gift to me. Bit dangerous perhaps to say God's gift to you too, but I don't want to be that big-headed about it. But it is wonderful to have something that really does affirm that it's good to be human. And for me, the Enneagram really does that. And its link into spiritual direction is that it really takes us as whole people. So it's not just the outward, but it's the inward. It's not just the personality that so often defines us in the social context, but it's what's within us. And it's how all of that works together. And it's something that calls one to be transformed and to grow beyond one's personality. Probably never to actually escape it, but to not be controlled by aspects. And so it's easy to say, well, that's just who I am, when people don't like various aspects of perhaps our behavior or our attitude. Something like the Enneagram says, actually, those can be worked with. And so often just has given me an insight into realizing that things that I didn't think were changeable may not truly change, because they will always be who I am. But I can work with them differently. I can share them differently. And I can be a more whole and creative person within that. So, yes, as I come, as you come to Jesus, what is our hope? And do we hope that we will be seen for who we are? And is that our experience in faith? Does our involvement in the structures of faith really affirm who we are as human beings who carry the image of God, affirm us in the wholeness that we are? If not, I think we need to question those aspects of our faith structures, and we need to seek to bring about changes in the way we as people of faith seek to live out the goodness of God in our world, and particularly in our relationships, our relationship with God, our relationship with ourselves, and of course, our relationship with one another. So may we know that love of God, and may we, like Jesus, begin to see each other too as God has created us, and who we truly are.